Hi guys, good morning to Vandal. This is Jeep and Slam studying third BTech in Ashanker Institution of Technology. Today, my tech talk presentation in this subject is machine learning. What is perceptron? What is to work in perceptron? First of all, definition. The perceptron is a simple artificial neural network algorithm that was introduced in the lastly 1915s as a model for binary classification problems, and despite its simplicity, the perceptron has been a fundamental building block for more complex algorithms and has played a significant role in the development of deep learning in other advanced machine learning techniques. The deep learning is a subfield of the artificial intelligence and machine learning. One type of ANN system is based on a until called a perceptron. AN is nothing but artificial neural networking system. Illustration in the below figure: a perceptron take a vector of real value input to calculate a linear combination of inputs and then outputs a one if the result is greater than some threshold one. Otherwise, more precisely given the input and throughout put the output. For example, it a calculation of output up to x1 comma and so on xn computed by the perceptron. The diagrammatical representation of the perceptron is given below, and inputs and weights and net input function activation function after that to achieve the output. And here the perceptron calculation is 0 of x1 and so on xn if 1 is w0 plus w1 x1 plus w2 x2 plus wn xn greater than 0 and minus 1 otherwise, and valued constant or weight that determines the and contribution of the input to xi, the perceptron output, and notice the quantity and the threshold that weight and combinations of and the combinations of these formulas, and how to perceptron is work. The perceptron based on the idea of the linear binary classifier, and we just separate the data into two classes by finding a non-linear boundary in the future space. The perceptron model consisting of a set of weights and bias terms and that define a decision boundary. The model make a predictions by computing weighted sum of the input futures and applying a step function to the result. The step function maps the continuous weights sum of the binary class label. The perceptron algorithm updates the weight and bias terms and interactively using the training data set of the labeled example. The example starts with a random set of weights bias, then adjusts weights and bias based on the and misclassified example in the training data. This process is repeated until the algorithm coverages, meaning that the example are correctly classified, or until the maximum number of iterations is reached. The perceptron is basically to work as the artificial neural network application. Limitations of perceptron: there are some limitations of and perceptron. Those are the perceptron algorithm has some limitation. For example, it can only find and linear decision boundaries, which meant it may not be able to solve the non-linearity separable problems, and additionally the algorithm is sensitive to the scaling the input future, which can affect the performance. Describing these limitations, the perceptron is still widely used as the basic building block for more complex algorithms, and its simplicity make it a useful tool for the understanding and explaining the principles of machine learning. What are different types of perceptron in machine learning? There are two types of perceptron in machine learning: single layer perceptron and multi-layer perceptron. In single layer perceptron means this can only learn linear separable pattern. Multi-layer perceptron means these have the greatest processing power, and they are a class or feed-forward neural networks. They have a hidden layer and used and sophisticated algorithm like back propagation and multi-layer propagation. A perceptron in multilayer perceptron is a supervised learning algorithm that learn a function rm used as to honor by training on a data set. it is called a multi-layer. There are different types of layer including in the multi-layer perceptron. See the diagram, we can easily understanding of a multiple layer perceptron. And first we can assumption here and factors of x and bias and plus 1 x1 x2 and x and so on x1 of a layers we can including in the perceptrons. And after that we can forward as the output layer and output and hidden layer figure shows one hidden layer. And MLP multi-layer perceptron which is scalar output. The scalar means not changing. The and leftmost layer known as the input layer consisting of a set of neurons x1 2 and so on xn representing the input features. Each neuron in a hidden layer transferring the value from the previous layer with weight. Weight is calculated as and 1 x1 plus w2 x2 and so on wm and xm until we can find out the and scalar output of the multi-layer perceptron. And advantages of a multi-layer perceptron are capability to learn non-linear models and capability to learn model in real-time online learning using the and partial fit. And disadvantages of a multi-layer perceptron is hidden layer have a non-convex less function and where these exist in more than one, and multi-layer perceptron require the turning number of and hyperparameters such as the number of hidden neurons also used. And multi-perceptron is and positiveness featuring in calling. Thank you friends, I am given opportunity. It is a brief explanation about the multi-layer perceptron in machine learning. Thank you. Thank you friends.